On the national level, campaign staffs, in particular the speechwriters, are great students of both political history and world history. What I mean is that when they write a speech, whether it's during the presidency, the State of the Union, or the inaugural speech, or during the campaign trail, a stump speech, or the nomination acceptance address, they go back through history and they read examples of others. How did Lincoln approach this subject? How did Roosevelt approach this subject? How did Harry Truman approach this subject? Looking for both positive and negative models. They're also students of what we call rhetoric. And rhetoric was invented in around the time of 500 BC when Athens first became a democracy. What happened was is that once just men, not slaves or women, once men had the right to speak in public and then thus devote their consciences based on the art of the arguments they saw for or against the expansion of olive groves or what have you, the building of a new Parthenon. What happened was speech became a kind of currency. My speech could be more influential than your speech if my speech was better than yours, if I could use my speech to garner more votes. And so what then happened is that there became a market for great speech. Somebody had to be teaching great speaking, and that person could command considerable fees. And so we had this group of people who we now know as the sophists. And the sophist's job was they were professional teachers of speech and argument, and they would be hired by the wealthiest citizens in Athens to teach them how to be eloquent, how to give amazing oratorical addresses. And over time, over repeated practices of hundreds of years, these sorts of sophistic or arguments from sophists would develop patterns. They noticed that audiences responded well to certain patterns of speech and not so well to other patterns of speech. And so what you see, a highly stylized address, a very well written address, an address perhaps like I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King, you'll notice that the speech is replete with ancient patterns of argument, these rhetorical devices that were first noticed and invented and coined by the sophists. So for the next few slides, we're going to go through several of these rhetorical devices that are as old as 500 BC, but make repeated appearances in the speeches of American political leaders.